I just finished catching up with the latest episode of the Mommy Club, which is episode 10. And in this episode, Nozi and Mops decided to have a sit down, have a heart to heart, and talk about what has been going on in Nozi's marriage. And Miss Thing has been going through a lot. I have already made a video about it, and if you are a South African and you know a little bit about this show, a lot of people have been talking about Nozi's marriage. And finally, she just gave us more details, more information about it on the show.
It's difficult to watch my person not be my person anymore.
Now, before I jump into that, let me introduce this shebang. What is the Mommy Club? It is a South African reality television show which is sort of copying the Real Housewives franchise, but not entirely. Yes, we do follow around a group of rich women as they live their fabulous lives, host parties, have events, start drama, confront each other, call each other out, so on and so forth. But the difference here is the focus is that they are mummies and they're really trying to just bring, to create a sisterhood and whatnot. And they also have segments where they include storylines pertaining to their nannies. So we are on season 2 of the show, and Nozi is one of the ladies that joined us in season 2. So she's the new mommy. And since the beginning, she's just never really like warmed up and opened up to the ladies and stuff like that. Instead, she just seems to become quieter and quieter and more withdrawn and preoccupied, clearly indicating that the lady is going through something. Her Majesty has picked it up. Her Majesty and Mopsy had a talk about it, and they decided that Mopsy will have a sit-down session with Nozi, and indeed that happened. And I love everything about it. Okay, I love everything about it. Mops was so mature, was so kind, was so understanding when she was talking to Nozi. Nozi, I feel that she felt safe to open up and tell Mops what has been going on in her marriage. And Lordy, I mean, we already know it was trending a few weeks ago, but to see her talk about it, talk about how about a year ago, after she gave birth to their 8th child, between Nozi and her husband, they have 8 children. Of course, some are Nozi's without him, some are his without Nozi, and some of the both of them. So they are a ginormous blended family. So after Nozi gave birth to their 8th child last year, this man comes to her on some tip of his on a spiritual journey, yada yada dun dun da, and now he wants to take a second wife. Aibo, when you are embarking on a spiritual journey, you take second wives. That is new to me, and I too am from the south coast of Durban, just like these people. I've never heard of this turn of events.
Just after Kosi was born, because he was born last year, my husband comes to me on some spiritual journey. Agiona ufuna ukuthatha unkosikazi wesibili.
Of course, Nozi was shocked with this delivery. She was hurt and she was disappointed, and she's like, no, she wants nothing to do with this. She does not like it. She does not agree. She does not consent, but they are moving on with or without her consent. It really comes across as if whatever she wants and whatever she feels does not matter. Nozi goes on to say that the hurtful thing about this entire situation is that the situation at home is so tense that it is now affecting their children. Mind you, quite a few of their children are already teenagers, so they are well aware of what is happening. They are well aware of how the stuff is affecting the relationship that their parents have, affecting their mother. So yes, I do think that the entire family is affected by this ginormous change. This is a big change, okay? Nozi and her husband have been married for 17 years. 17 years later, this man comes at ya and tells you that he wants a second wife. That would break anybody's heart. If you still love your husband and if you are still committed to your husband, and we have seen the little bit when Nozi would be spunk and open up, she loves her husband. She loves being married. She's committed to her family. So of course this whole thing was like a knife through the heart for her when this man came to her talking about wanting a second wife. And we know through the trending stories of a couple of weeks ago, he has lobola to the new wife. So this is going on. Nozi said she doesn't like it, she doesn't consent, but it is going on, proceeding whether she likes it or not. Now, I got a couple of things to say about the situation. Numero uno, kudos to the production of the show. Kudos to the cast of the show. They handled this thing so well, so classy. Like, I can just think of a couple of shows that would have made it a mess, that somebody else would have revealed Nozi's secret, but everybody stayed put. Everybody allowed Nozi to be the one who talks about this, to be the one who reveals the story on the show, and she controls her own narrative. I don't believe that the wives didn't know. I feel like some of the wives knew. I feel like Mopsy already knew. The way this conversation with Mopsy and Nozi happened, I really feel like she knew. And that leads me to point number two. I feel that Her Majesty knew, because Her Majesty's older daughter and Nozi's daughter are best friends, and they talk, and we've seen them on the show talk. But I think the show was edited in such a way that if Nozi's daughter didn't mention the polygamy situation, the producers edited it out. As I said, they wanted Nozi to be the one to control that narrative. Also, when you think in previous conversations that these ladies have been having as a group, like there was a point where Her Majesty did bring up the subject matter of polygamy. There was a point where Her Majesty brought up men will cheat and stuff like that. Subject matters that Her Majesty has been bringing up. Now in hindsight, I'm like, she knew something. My other point is, during the conversation that Nozi and Mops were having, Mopsy mentioned how insensitive Nozi's husband was, to introduce the subject of wanting a second wife shortly after Nozi had given birth. That was hella insensitive, bro. What's up with that? Because when a woman is pregnant, her body goes through so many changes physically. She goes through so much hormonally, she goes through so much mentally and stuff like that. So when you've just given birth, you are so raw, you are so sensitive. You want your partner to be supportive, to make you feel like you matter to him. He still loves you, he still finds you sexy, he still finds you attractive, and he understands what you are going through. But Nozi's husband told her, girl, I want a second one. Well, not in those terms, but couldn't this man wait for maybe an entire year to go by? Last but not least is a point that Nozi herself mentioned, that she has no life outside of her husband. It's like she built her identity around being this man's wife. And two things about that. The first thing is the area that this couple is from. They are from the south coast of KwaZulu-Natal, the Port Shepstone area. Fun fact, that is the area that Musam Selego is from, the South African, the famous South African polygamist. So it seems like men from that side have a particular mentality. That side of KwaZulu-Natal is very traditional and very patriarchal. And in pockets of society like that, there is a way that a girl child is raised. Certain ideals are promoted to the girl child. Aspire for marriage. Okay, it's like in your household you are trained how to treat your man, how to treat your husband, cater to your husband. Always be calm, be kind, be genteel, be soft-spoken, so that a man will find you attractive and desirable. Always conduct yourself in a manner that will bring honor to your husband, never bring disgrace and disrespect and disrepute to your husband's name, and so on and so forth. Just pretty much to aspire for marriage. And that is why I think Nozi is such. Nozi got married to this man, and that is what she focused on, creating a warm household, a warm home for this man and this ginormous family that they were creating. So this then leads me to my second point, in that when the man does something to disappoint you, something that hurts you, something that you do not agree with, such as taking a second wife, because you centered your life around him and you did not build yourself, you did not work on accumulating something of yourself, you are left with very little options in terms of how to proceed. If she were to be like, okay, I'm leaving him, oh Lord, she has a lot to think about, because he still has to be the one sending them the money. Does she have any income? I do know that she has a YouTube channel. Is a YouTube channel bringing in money? I do know that she started this baby clothing business. Is it off the ground yet? And she did receive a salary from the show, but how long could she live off of that? So you see, when you center your life around a man and he drops you and he hurts you, it becomes real hard, real difficult, and real tricky. And for us as viewers at home, as ladies at home, unmarried and the likes, I think 2024 moving onwards, we shouldn't do that. Yes, marry, yes, love your man, yes, cater to your man, but don't forget yourself in the process. Don't center him so much that you only view yourself through his eyes. He's all you think about, he's all that you focus on, and you forget your own growth and your own progress, and you do not accumulate any assets and tangibles for yourself. People switch up, people change as time goes by. They see something younger and fresher and they might just want it or want to add it on, and you will be hurt and you won't have a way to get out. So yeah, tricky situation for Nozi. I wish her all the best. May the Lord be with her. I think that is all I have to say in this video. If you have made it this far, please make sure that you bless me by subscribing, help me grow my channel. Also give this video a thumbs up and tell me in the comment section, what would you do if you were in Nozi's position. Thank you so much. Bye.